Dear students, welcome to Lazarski Talks. It's Monday, it's 6 p.m., and we're here for you as always. Today is the 11th episode of Lazarski Talks, and if you haven't seen, the recap that we've prepared for you is on Facebook of Lazarski University, so go there and give us some likes. We're gonna start from the organizational stuff as always. I'm gonna tell you that welcome everyone. The second thing I'm gonna tell you is that we all are corona free. That's why we can hug and I can kiss Dorina Patrick if I want at some point of this talk show. And this is the thing that we always say, turn off your microphones. You never do the opposite, but just in case, you can text us and please do. Today we're having a guest and we're sure that you're gonna have a lot of questions.
Exactly. The most pleasant thing for the beginning, questions from you guys and prizes for you. And today we have really special episode and really special guest. Let me introduce our guest to you. This is Bauyrzhan Zhanuzakov, Lazarski University lecturer, head of student help desk, and very active colleague of mine, if I may say so.
Hi guys.
Could you please couple of words about the books you brought, why books, why you decided to do so?
Yeah, guys. So today I got this little gift to our listeners and viewers. I decided to bring something that's kind of a respect for you for spending time with us, and it's kind of part of the culture of sharing this culture of promoting the culture of reading, and which I'm trying to intertwine into my classes too. We got three books: Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning, Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules for Life, and quite popular Sapiens by Yuval Noah Harari. And I'll be glad to give them to you for your questions.
Exactly. So, dear students, this is what you will be fighting for today.
Yes.
Um,
Can you tell us just a couple of words about you because you didn't introduce yourself? Considering the fact that I'm sure that every single student who is watching us today knows you, but still probably some newcomers are gonna watch Lazarski talks. Thank you for knowing the name of the show. So a couple of words about you.
I'm a lecturer at Lazarski University, and I've been here for quite a long time. I'm a graduate myself of this university, a proud alumni of Lazarski University, and I'm also at the moment dealing with the student help desk, where me and Darina, we lead the team of the student ambassadors doing a lot of cool projects. And let me also thank you for having me here and for initiating this cool project, Lazarski Talks. It's awesome.
Thank you
you
for
very
accepting
much.
our invitation. Let me start from the very first question which we have on our list. I don't know whether you're aware of this fact, but you are one of the most wanted guests, according to polls which we had.
From the very beginning.
Yes, exactly. We saw your name a lot of times. Why do you think students love you so much?
Okay, well, thank you very much. That massages my ego a lot. uh, uh, I don't know. It's like, you know, it's I don't want to self-praise, but I do find a lot of meaning in what I'm doing. I'm in teaching classes, and I'm trying to establish connection with students, with each one of them individually. It brings me back a lot of let's say passion and meaning. Probably that could explain partly, at least, the answer to your
Okay.
question.
We've been talking to students, and some of them are saying that you have special teaching methods and techniques. What can you say about that?
Okay, well, I never considered them to be special. It's just that something that I'm doing from the bottom of my heart. For me, teaching has always been an undisputably deeper form of interaction with students than just simply transplantation of knowledge from one head to a set of other heads. It's because we're trying to kind of raise a generation of leaders, business leaders, leaders in politics, leaders in corporate environment, and it kind of implies a big deal of responsibility on our shoulders. So I always reckoned with that, and I tried to kind of recognize this heavy load of responsibility. Therefore, it kind of obliges me to manifest a set of values and principles that I kind of try to intertwine into the classes and topics and content that I'm delivering in the classroom.
Okay.
Maybe that explains.
Interesting.
We have a question from
Yep.
the student, and I think, well, first of all, we have a comment from Anas, who is saying that, and we're so glad to be with you today. Thank you very much, Anas, for being as active as always,
Yeah.
and coming to the question that we already have the answer for, because one student asked the question and another student of yours answered that in the Instagram. So the question is, how old are you?
Okay, I'm 30 years old.
30 years old.
Okay, yeah.
So there is a mistake.
Exactly.
Gentleman, I guess you're a gentleman because someone said that you're 31. So no, he's not that old. Okay, but do you think that you try to put something in your educational methods, something that you personally had a lack of when you were a student back?
Yeah,
then?
absolutely. It's like, because like you have the same experience probably.
Well,
You just graduated and
yeah.
you started like this, you switched behind the
Mhm.
barricade, the other side of barricades, and you kind of think what I was lacking when I was a student. And you also try to emulate best practices of the favorite teachers of yours, and that helps a lot. Yeah, the fact that you were just recently over there as a student and you observed the class from the other side among the group of students, probably gives you some advantage when you switch side and you become a teacher.
Can I? Okay, we have a lot of questions, but I just,
Yeah.
what is the best thing that you had when you were a student
Mhm.
that now you kind of continue this way? Probably it was a teacher that was, your favorite, and you were like, oh my God, his teaching methods is so great.
Mhm.
Or was it something very, very bad that motivated you to be like, different? So I'm not going to do this to students. Was it something like that?
I really enjoyed classes where lecturers were interacting with the audience. I think if you're trying to teach, if you're trying to teach something, you have to be able to establish connection with the group. So I did enjoy classes of my senior colleagues now, and I try to kind of emulate their practices. So I try to be as much interactive as
Mhm.
possible. That helps me a lot, like just to read the audience, because I can try to feel whether they are absorbing the information well, or whether there are some blind spots
Mhm.
that require revision. Yeah, so I trying to be more interactive with the audience. Probably that is the best thing that I'm trying to copy and paste in my
Cool.
practice.
I can relate to all of that. And it's such a cool vibe that we're having, with our young teachers here at the university. Because I hope you consider yourself as a young teacher, because you're not 31 yet. Would you read that question? Because we haven't just,
Okay, we have
bibliography.
we never had such type of questions
No,
before.
we never
But
had.
okay, with you, it's a special episode. So, a student is asking, where are you from?
I'm from Kazakhstan. And I'm from a small town in Kazakhstan. I finished my high school over there. I came here to study BA, and then I stayed here for MA, and then I was lucky to continue my
Lazarski
study
captured
here.
you.
Yeah. Okay, we have 1,045 questions already here. So I don't know. Should we stick to our questions and then come back to these, or what do you think?
We were talking about this teaching method, so
Mhm.
we can ask a couple of questions which are related to that, and
Okay.
then we can
Okay.
just switch.
The first comment that we have is that you're the best teacher ever. Another one in the basket. Would you ask this one?
Okay, that's actually a cool one. What's the weirdest question a student asked you?
The weirdest question.
Yep.
Okay, here's what. Once my colleague told me there are no stupid questions, there are stupid answers, so I kind of try to stick to this formula, and I don't kind of treat questions as weird. But I don't remember weird questions. Nothing comes to my head.
Okay.
Maybe something will pop up during the course of
Yeah,
our
we'll be finishing the
conversation.
episode, and you're like,
Yeah.
I have it,
Sure.
I have it.
Okay, I don't know, but let us. Okay, I'm gonna ask this question because this is kind of an interesting one. If you weren't a lecturer, what would you do?
If I wouldn't be a lecturer, what would I do? Okay, that's a good question. Um, I would probably, well, realistically, here in Poland, I would probably go to the corporate environment. I will build my career over there. Um, yeah, what I never thought about that, honestly speaking. That would be probably the most down to the ground answer. I'm sorry for disappointing you.
So we have a person for the book, I guess, because this is the question.
Yeah,
well,
maybe
probably,
that's a
right?
good
But
question.
Yeah, that will be
considering
your
the amount
choice
of
anyway.
questions, you're gonna have the hardest choice today
Yeah.
because you're gonna have 100,000 questions. I don't know what to ask. I mean, we have so many. Okay, let us switch to the Microsoft Teams. Would you read that?
Okay, I'll be just reading, okay? Not miss in order not to miss anything. Hello, once you're a teacher, I'd like to ask what are the difference in teaching system for your home country to Poland, and which do you identify yourself the most with?
Oh, definitely with Poland, because I kind of spend the lion's share of my conscious part of my life here, and but what the main difference is I consider this education system in Poland. Okay, so here's what. Let me start from another thing. The thing that is my family is mostly is in education industry, as my mom is a teacher in a college. My dad spent a decade and a half in the university as a professor, so I do have some knowledge about the system of education out there, and we often talked about it, and we did some comparative kind of analysis, and the problem over there is the corruption. Is it's like vastly spread corruption, and that's probably was one of the reasons why my parents wanted me to study abroad, although they being in the education industry of my home country. And I'm saying that with a heavy like feeling of a grief. I'm very sorry for that.
Have you ever thought about coming back and trying to change something?
Probably sometime in the future.
Sometime in the
Yeah.
future. Well, that's a nice question, because we can relate to that too. Because I think the situation in Kazakhstan, in Ukraine, for instance, and we can say it out loud here, right? That's why we're trying to be different. And I guess you have the same feeling about that. Okay, Anas is asking, what kind of advice you can give to your students during this period of online studies, exams, writing essays, time management?
Okay, so the situation that we all ended up in, the pandemic inflicted online mode of everything is very heavy. It's difficult, and it kind of implies that we have to change our modus operandi. I think we need to be more proactive. That's what I'm asking all my students to be during the online classes. Be proactive, because otherwise I will not be feeling where your blind spots are. Otherwise I will not be feeling whether you are absorbing information, you are getting the topic. So be proactive during the online classes. Don't do the ghost presence, yes, switching on and doing something else, because that's you have to be proactive and be more disciplined. I think that also that time is a nice trial for us and for our qualities, like whether we can discipline ourselves, whether we can self-discipline, whether we can make ourselves sit down and study and self-educate. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for the answer. Should we switch to this?
Yep. Just me is asking. First of all, thank you for all the support you provide. And the question is, what keeps you going?
Keeps me going. Okay.
They like to ask these questions.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. Okay, so well, I do find a lot of inspiration and meaning in my work. My family, my friends, that's probably it. But like I do find a huge deal of inspiration in my students. Just like it's a two-way street. I'm trying to give them something, but I think I'm receiving unproportionately more from them. I have to be honest.
That's why students like you, because this is two-ways relationship. Okay. Anas is saying, I think it's regarding the thing that we said about stupid questions and stupid answers, and he's saying that exactly, I don't think there are stupid questions. We ask because we don't know, and it looks simple for the
Where?
receiver, because he already know the answer, and I think we all can agree about that. Ines is asking. What Ines is asking?
Ines, hello, happy to see you all today. Thank you, Ines. That's
Thank you
first
for
of
being
all.
with us.
Yes, exactly. I have a question. What is the most memorable event that you had during your student life?
Offline classes.
uh, I I did enjoy every single. I mean, when I came here, I was so hungry for everything. I was just mesmerized by the new world that was opening in front of me, and the fact that it's an international environment and we're all equal. You know, you're treated by your uh, by your actions, and you, like it's such a vastly different system just culturally, and meritocracy is here, and I really enjoyed meeting people from all over the world, traveling with them, just sharing our cultural difference, like talking about our countries, home countries. um, yeah, probably that is one of the most important takeaway things that I took out from my education period.
Okay. I guess Jesus.
I feel lost.
I
So
feel lost too. I mean, I have to say that this is the first time when we have like 16 minutes of Lazarski talks, and we have so many questions that
Yeah.
we are lost and we cannot choose.
Yeah, let's finish with
Yeah,
the
let's finish with
16.
this, and just a quick
Yeah.
thing. We're gonna finish asking the questions from the students, and we're gonna switch to our questions because we have a lot of them too. So I guess we're gonna read this.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My question to you is: what would you tell your younger self when you still were unsure how your future would unfold?
Okay, that's also a good question. I think it's a podcast template question, but it's really is. I mean, it's popular for a particular reason. Here's what. Well, first of all, I would give myself a good slap in the face and study more. I'm kidding. I would say myself that I shouldn't be so stressed about the uncertainty of tomorrow. Um, and because well, like when you're 20 and you don't really know which, I mean, so many paths, so many doors are in front of you. You need to pick one, and that's a challenge. It causes so many anxiety, fear of missing out, the FOMO. Yes, I think they call it that way. And you need to just cool down. You need to don't be afraid to wander around stupidly. That's something that I read out from Jordan Peterson books. Don't be afraid to wander around stupidly before you figure out what you want to do in your life. But I would just add something. Be curious. Be curious about everything around you, because life, I mean, it's limited. Like, your time is limited. It's a scarce resource, so you have to allocate it in a proper way. So pay attention to things. Be curious about your life, and when you figure out what you are into, just tread this path.
What about a failed exam? Do you need
Absolutely
to kill
not.
yourself for
No,
for them?
no. It's guys. Don't worry about that. I mean, that's one thing that I'm trying to. I never blame students for failing the exam, because I know that they have some traits that give them a comparative advantage. They don't necessarily expose themselves those traits in the education process. They might be talented artists. Why I'm going to judge them by their exam grades? Just, I mean, we all go through failures. We all go through some successes, yes, some achievements. So don't be afraid to fail, because failure is actually is actually a path to certain accomplishment.
Okay.
I think we're just
Let-
switching to another,
yes.
because I have so many questions, but I'm just gonna be silent because we have so many questions from the student. Can you read
So we
this
are
one?
going with the students. Okay.
Yeah.
We know that we need to be productive, be active, learn, and do many stuff in our lives. But sometimes we feel so tired and we just give up. Then we find ourselves starting from zero again, and this may affect our lives. What to do? And Maria agrees with this and says, indeed.
When you go, I mean, like, I think the answer to that is try to, well, discipline and consistency probably is going to be answer to that, because when we base our actions on motivation or on the waves of, like, you know, the mood, that's not entirely correct, I think. That's not very reliable, because motivation is kind of an emotion, and emotions come and go, yes. So you have to base your actions on something a bit more consistent, and just be consistent. Develop a system, routine that allows you to take little steps every day to your goals, and despite of your emotional state. Because we all feel sometimes down, we all feel sometimes not motivated to do anything. Sometimes you wake up in the morning, you don't want to do anything, yes, you just want to have a lazy day.
Yeah.
Do a little step. Don't base your actions and don't plan your actions on motivation.
It's just a comment, so we can read that. It's not even a question.
Okay, Anas comments, motivation needs goals and goals need actions, but the problem is to act. Sometimes it's so hard to act.
Exactly.
No one says it is not hard.
Yeah,
but
no one
Yeah.
said it's gonna be easy.
Yeah. By the way, actions have a motivating power of themselves. So sometimes when you don't feel motivated, just go and take the action, and that is going to give you a little burst of energy.
Okay. I think.
What about asking our second and third question? Try to connect it
Yes,
with
we're gonna
some
do
questions
this.
from students.
So, this is going to be my question, and this one will be connected to the unit of the university that is kind of new. And I said it before in, I don't know, a couple of episodes ago, that I think that all of our students are very lucky because they ended up in the situation when a unit that is called Lazarski Student Help Desk was created. So, first of all, today we have a bonus because we have two people from Lazarski Student Help Desk, right? And I can ask both of you about the questions that I am personally curious about. So when I was a student, when you were a student, we didn't have anything like this. So guys, we had, just think about it, imagine, we had to deal with our problems by ourselves. Now you have these two wonderful people and the whole team of Lazarski Student Help Desk that are here for you. And the question is the following: how did it appear? And was it created because there was a demand for some unit like this, or it was created because of the pandemic and because we just needed to help students more than we did?
It wasn't created because of the pandemic. It was created before the pandemic. It was just a coincidence that the pandemic actually halted our grand opening in the spring semester 2020. It was created exactly for the reason of the demand. So we understand the fact that the international student help desk is first of all open for all the students of Lazarski University, but for clear reasons that international students have a range of challenges that local students never experience. Let's say legalization, karta pobytu, language barriers, and so on. And they always would. I've been before student help desk for 4.5 years. I've been working as a program assistant on international relations, and I would be doing student help desk locally on that program. So students would come to me asking certain questions that they didn't know where to address to, and we would. Individually, some people in this university were doing something to support them, not something they were doing a lot. And I'm very, very grateful to those people who were at the origins of this, including Justina Muravska, who have initiated this whole project of student help desk, because I have no doubts it's one of the best projects that Lazarski University has implemented within the last 5-10 years.
But what is the purpose? Is it because the students need karta pobytu and legalization stuff? Because if yes, then why do you have this, current events that you're doing for students, even, in a pandemic and coming, just making two questions together? I know personally that this is a huge question that has a very high importance for Lazarski Student Help Desk and for students. A lot of students think that you take care about all aspects of their education, of their student life, of their, organizational issues at the university. So is it true? And if not, then can you please tell us what exactly is the thing that Lazarski Student Help Desk does?
Okay, so the initial idea was to provide support to our students, all of them, in the widest range of issues. That's a very general definition, yes. We had to figure out what the student help desk is, and we did it in the process, I think. So we launched the trial version. We tried to do everything, and then we figured out what we are actually. I think what we are doing is we are, first of all, our activity, I divide them into two types, of two categories, the proactive and reactive. Reactive refers to when students come to us, they contact us via our social media pages or personally come to us and with some requests or requests for help, yes, and then we react, we support them. But we also have a lot of initiative. We also have a lot of projects, integrative projects, which has a purpose to help students integrate into the Lazarski family, find friends, do some cool activities, get acquainted with the culture of the country they are residing in, and so on. So I would say that we are the place where they can resort with most of their questions. And even if we will not be competent to solve the issue, we will always redirect them. And apart from that, we are also more or less experienced foreigners in Poland, so we could give some kind of consultation and piece of advice for them. Yeah.
And the cool thing is that you all are students or ex-students of Lazarski University,
Exactly.
so you know it from the inside.
Exactly.
Okay, so a personal question about your professional Lazarski Student Help Desk. Well, there are a lot of workers at Lazarski University, right, who could have taken care about that. Um, why do you feel that importance, and why do you think you can make with the team Lazarski Student Help Desk as efficient and important as it can be?
So you're asking why Lazarski Student Help Desk is important and
No, I mean, you have the whole team. You have Bekir, who is responsible
we
for
have
our questions
7
right
student
now.
ambassadors.
And you have, how many people you have in a team?
7.
7 people. So you have 7 people in a team. Do you think that the fact that you are the student and that you have the special teaching methods where you are kind of a teacher friend makes you the best for this Lazarski
Oh,
Student
you mean
Help Desk?
like why
Yeah.
am I?
Yeah,
Okay. Honestly speaking, I was suggested this role. I wasn't so enthusiastic to pick it up. I was recommended strongly, and I think one of my colleagues said that you are there when I was having this period of imposter syndrome. He told me that you are there for a good reason. So just carry on, and I think I got there because I was basically doing a similar role as a program assistant for 4.5 years on international relations. I don't want to hit my chest and say that
No,
I'm
but
that would be the most kind of I think close to reality rationalization of my role there.
okay. What about the newcomers? I mean, the students who are going to be enrolling, like, because probably they're watching us right now in the YouTube later on. Is there any chance for a new student to join you as the student ambassador, or do you have this recruitment stage?
Well, actually, there were a number of, I think, more than a number of requests to join us yesterday, and we have
Still are.
yes, students who contacted us and said they would be happy to participate and help us around, and I really appreciate, and I think this is a good indicator of the thing that we're doing right thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. At the moment, due to the pandemic and limited activities, we are not hiring. We are not taking any volunteer students. But I think for the next academic year, we would be would have some openings, and yeah, we would announce that. So please just follow our Instagram pages.
Okay, so I'm gonna finish with that. I'm just gonna go with the question in a Microsoft Teams that we have from Arman. In the beginning of the academic year, you've told a lot about your teacher personality. Now, what's the most important and/or interesting thing about your real-life self that students should know?
I don't remember myself talking a lot about myself, my personality in the classes. What's the most important thing that I was that I from my personal life that
Yeah,
I think it's
real life self that students should know. So not like Mr. a
Mhm.
lecturer, but
Mhm.
like a guy who is
Just an ordinary person who really loves reading, loves football, and loves sports, loves his job and his students and his colleagues and his family. That's
should
it.
we ask this now?
Yeah, I think so,
Yeah.
because I see all these
I see all
questions,
the
so
questions too.
they will be related. So our question is, what are your hobbies?
Mhm.
We will add some more question to
Yes.
that, but just answer this first,
Mhm.
and then we will be asking questions from students.
Okay, so just as I said, so I'm going to repeat myself once again, guys. I really like to read. I try to make it a daily routine of mine. So I try. It's a disciplined thing. I don't think I'm. There are students, by the way, at the university whom I really envy in a good sense because they are voracious readers. Like they just have book gluttony. I would like to have this kind of book dependency. I am not one of them. Unfortunately, I really like playing football, and by the way, with Bikiro, with some students of Lazarski University, I spend a lot of time on the football field.
Yeah, by the way, we have a question, special question for our teacher. When are you going to open a football club at Lazarski University?
By the way, a couple of years ago, we launched this teachers students football club that we tried for a semester. And it was really fun. I think we have a reason to continue it after the pandemic is over. Why not? We'll see.
We'll see who's gonna win. Shall we read this one? And
Yeah,
then we're
actually,
just gonna go with all of the questions that we
that
have
was
here.
the reason why we changed the list of our questions. Anas was asking, tell us more about Mr. Zhan, not as a teacher, but something like what you are doing in your daily life, your hobbies, and more to know about you as a person. We've got good players, don't worry. Anas
So-
is also
Yeah,
informing you.
I played with him. I
You
played
got a
with him.
team now. Or not you, your competitors by the football. Cool. Okay. I want to ask this question because it's related to the hobbies that we're talking
Okay.
about. So what is the book? Because one of your hobbies is
Mhm.
reading,
Mhm.
and you came here with the books. So what is the book that influenced you the most?
Um, that will be a very tough. I think anybody who is a book lover would agree with me that it's always tough to pick up one single title. But if you give me, well, this one, for example, the Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl is definitely in my top five, easily. It's a brilliant book. It's a brilliant book of the person who went through the darkest pages of the 20th century. He survived four concentration camps, I think, and he set up the psychiatric school called logotherapy, which is considered to be the third most prominent psychiatric school after Sigmund Freud's and Carl Jung's school. So I would say this is, for example, a one of the top five
And
books I've
today
ever.
someone has a chance to win it.
Yeah, and
So,
today someone pick it up.
I have no idea how you will be choosing the best
Yeah, me too.
questions, honestly.
Ah.
If you remember any of them, because I already forgot what we were talking about 20 minutes ago. Should we read this one? Because I think that is related to Lazarski Student Help Desk and to everything that you're doing.
Okay. What is the best advice during studying in Poland in university?
The best advice for students for their studies, yes?
Yep.
Make it a regular habit. Don't cram overnight before the exams. I know that sounds too idealistic because we all had these periods when we would just have fun and then spend a night or several nights before the exam sleepless. I think we have to find a balance. Students shall find a balance, and I was trying to do that when I was a student. So I would spend some portion of my day studying, but I would also try to have socialization, meet new friends, because after all, like, and a very crucial part of your student experience is people whom you met. Yes, it's the circle the social
Absolutely.
circle which you build.
Absolutely.
So it's also very, very important.
Okay, okay. We have a question from Anas, and I guess that we're gonna ask Student Help Desk to create a special post from Jean with recommendations of what to read and what to
What to
watch.
watch, yeah.
Because Anas is asking some question, but about movies. Three movies may have or had an impact on you.
Three movies that had an impact on me. Oh, okay. That's a good question. I would say, well, I would if you would give me more time later, I would probably make stories or Instagram posts with a number of recommendations. But what comes to my head at the moment, it's movies that have somehow touched the bottom of my heart. So like very emotionally touchy. The Way Home. This is a South Korean movie. It's not very popular, but it's an absolutely stunning picture of about the family values. That would be one, and a couple of others. The pianist. What is that in English?
I think it's the same word.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah,
same word.
Like
I think so.
Key player?
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know.
Yeah. Wait, you watched it, yes?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
amazing.
I don't know the name.
It's just it's also about the Second World War. And
So I'm waiting for the post from Lazarski
yeah,
Student
okay.
Help
So
Desk.
I'll
Okay?
do that later. Okay, so I'll think through and take my time.
Anas is asking, is it I don't know how to read it even. Parasite?
Parasite.
Parasite?
There's also a Korean movie.
Yeah, but that's another
No,
one.
no, no,
That's
no,
another
that's
one.
another one. That's another one.
Okay, we're gonna have two questions. I think they're related. The first one is, what would you like to change in teaching methods or the approaches to teaching students?
Like at the university or
At the university, I guess.
okay, that's a provocative question. It's like trying to clash me with my colleagues. What do you? Okay. I think I kind of would introduce a bit more of I don't know. But by the way, I would say that it's like interactiveness during the classes, so that students would feel a bit more engaged. Because I know that there are a lot of students who don't raise their voice because they feel uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the reasons why I try to establish a connection with the group is just to relax them so that they feel comfortable to raise their hand and to ask us question that they would be otherwise afraid to ask. Maybe that.
Okay, so now is a question from Just Meet, which is
Where?
here.
Okay.
But this is a nice question, honestly.
Okay. Which student you met that amazed you? Like, what skills you saw and you thought were extraordinary?
Okay. Um. Should I say names? So like that's okay.
If you have a
If you
name.
want, so.
It's like there are students which in the scale of their personalities it's just so large and simply stunning, and they because you learn also a lot from your students, and I think that I learned a lot from some of them, like undoubtedly Tihana Tokic, who is currently in the UK, was one of our best graduates. I think we have some students who are currently studying, and I don't want to name them for a good reason. That we had Roseanne from Netherlands. She was also a beautiful mind. We have so many students from Ukraine, Sofia Shevchuk, and their generation was amazing. And basically, it's I don't know. It's just I would probably spend an hour here sitting and listing all the students who have been.
Nice. But this is such a nice, attitude that you have for the students.
Thank
That are not just, people who come to the class and just here's the material. Thank you very much for attention. Off you go.
By the way, I have to admit one thing. So I mean, to prove the fact that I learn a lot from students, this book has been recommended by students of the first year international relations a year ago, 2 years ago, 2019, and at that year that was the best. Fairly the best book that I read that year, and I really literally learned a lot from them.
Okay, so coming back to the book topic, what phrase has stuck in your head from the book forever?
There are phrases from basically so many books. Okay, this book, the phrase goes like, he talks about freedom, and he talks about freedom as a not necessarily positive phenomenon, because we are cherishing freedom in the Western liberal society. We're saying that freedom is a value that we're striving for. We should defend it, yes. But Viktor Frankl, his wisdom is he recognized the darkness of freedom. He said that freedom without responsibility could be despotic, and he said that we have to balance freedom with responsibility. And he said that nice thing that he would supplement the Statute of Liberty on the east side of the United States with the Statute of Responsibility on the west side.
Cool. Okay. Okay. I guess a lot of people, even if they don't win it today, they're gonna read it and download it or in a paper version, and that is one of the goals, I guess.
I would be happy.
I want you to read this question. Hi, Victoria. Thank you very much for being with us. Well,
That's a funny one, actually. Can you say the longest word in Kazakh language?
The longest word in Kazakh language.
Yep. Do you know what is the longest word?
No, I don't know.
Okay. So Victoria, if you can find the longest word, we will just show it to Mr. Zhan and he will try to read it.
what is your
Okay.
favorite word in your language? Do you speak Kazakh, by the way?
Well, I do, but I wouldn't say that I'm very fluent in that,
Okay.
unfortunately. There are two phrases, asbolsun and rahmet. It basically says bon appetit and thank you.
Okay, Rahmet is thank you.
Yeah.
Cool. I'll say thank you whenever I see you. Rahmet. Okay. The comment and the question from Anastasia Yerevchinska. Hi, first off, I'm really enjoying today's episode. Thank you for your work. Thank you very much for being with us. It's a it's a pleasure when we receive
Yeah.
the comments like that, like always.
Nice of you.
And the question, what is the reason for your choice of books?
Okay. Okay. That's a good question, by the way. My top 5 easily. That's probably why. And it's small, and it's like, I think if I would say I would recommend something, only one book, I would probably recommend only this. Do I understand correctly? The question is about these 3 books?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got it that way.
Okay, so this, because that's a tribute back to students, I got this title from the students, and I'm kind of paying back, and I hope that it will be handy and will give some kind of sense and meaning for somebody else. Yes, and it's brilliant book. And this book, because I wanted to give something else, like something popular, something not too heavy, not too heavy to go through, and popular and recommendable at the same time. Sapiens, and I do read some parts from this book, assign as a part reading, recommended reading in the classes. So,
Oh, cool.
yeah.
We're switching to the next one. Would you read this? Because this is a good question.
Okay, this is a question from our student ambassadors, by the way. How are you managing university as a teacher, leader of couple of clubs, and personal time in life? Sometimes it seems that you're you're with your students.
Well, that's I'll probably start answering this question from the statement that if you don't find meaning in teaching, you probably wouldn't become a teacher. I think you would agree with me. Yes, you have to have this. You have to find meaning in that, because it's quite a hectic schedule work type. Like every teacher has his own individual schedule. For example, in my case, I'm crazy in the fall semester, a bit more relaxed in the spring semester, and it's this balance. So you have to be devoted to what you're doing. You have to find meaning in it. You have to see sense in it, and be ready to sacrifice something for what you're doing. It's difficult, yeah, but I think if you see meaning, then you'll probably sacrifice readily something else for your work.
And you're not sorry for the things
Absolutely
that you
not.
sacrifice.
No.
Because it makes sense for you and then for your students. So the goal is achieved. Here's the question, and I have no idea what it means. Speciality question. Why is XOR usually used for zeroing registers, and why not MOV? Have you any idea about
I'm lost. I'm
Cool.
confused. I'm
We're not
sorry.
alone.
Way too
Uh,
specific. I don't get it.
okay, Rostislav, you can, I think, ask Mr. Zhan at the end of the episode because we have no idea
Okay,
what
or
to ask.
maybe just specify your question,
Yeah.
like
Clarify.
Uh,
I'll be happy to
explain it.
answer.
Okay, we already have a question. What is your favorite book? But I think we talked about that a lot, and you cannot name
Yeah.
us one name.
Yeah.
What about this one?
Okay, I saw that a long time ago and I wanted to ask that. Thank you. What question would you like to answer yourself but you were never asked before?
It's like they are outsourcing the task to figure out the question to me. Very smart of you guys. Very smart of you. What question would I like to? Can I skip this one? It's okay. Mm, Actually, you asked these questions. I think it's about books. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I would cheat my way out of it.
Okay. Okay. Let us switch to this thing. Such a nice question, but you need to understand that we have 15 minutes left. So,
Oh my God.
a little question from science community. What do you think civilization will look like in 100 years?
Little
Uh,
question. Little.
Just a little question. Just a little question.
I have no idea. I mean, nobody knows how can we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. A year ago, a year and a month ago, we were sitting in our flats and we didn't know that we are going to be locked in, confined in this lockdown for another 1 year. How can we think about what's going to be in 1,000 years? But I think it's going to be a new, brave world that is going to be so different and so complicated to understand with our prismas.
Okay. Okay. Well, I think. Jesus, how many questions? Okay, I don't understand what this thing means.
That was actually the opposite question. We were asking you about your favorite students, like
Mhm.
the best which you met on your path. And Anas is asking actually the opposite one. Have you ever had some issues with one of your students?
Can I just clarify? I wouldn't name them favorite. I would just call them the students that have uh, uh, that simply left an imprint in my
Okay.
mind. Yes, so I wouldn't, because that's not fair to call somebody
Yeah,
a
sure.
favorite.
Agree.
And a student that would
Have you
be-
ever had a student which you had issues with?
I mean, I'm pretty sure that every single teacher would sooner or later would end up in a situation, a conflictuous situation with one or another student, but that's not a reason to kind of disfavor that student. And no, it's just could be a outcome of a complicated situation. So I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't come up with an example because I would have to sit down and think for another 20 minutes, but we have only 10.
Yes.
exactly.
Another question from Anas is related to the book,
Mhm.
I guess. Well, I think so. So, means that freedom should be limited.
By the way, that's something that we had this demo recording of the debate. I would like to mention about it too, and it was on the topic for the demo debates was religion, proposition, opposition, so atheist versus religious standpoint. And one of the arguments was that religion is a constructive system that limits individuals' freedom, and I think it makes a lot of sense. I mean, for me personally, I don't think freedom has to be limited from the top by the system, by the government, but by the individual and his ability to kind of find his, let's say, impulses, if I may say so.
Okay, you mentioned this debate. I think
Yes.
this is the perfect
Yes.
moment to explain to our students who don't know what
Yeah,
we're talking
okay.
about. Can you please introduce this event,
Okay.
which is going to happen really, really soon?
Okay. This week, Student Help Desk and Lazarski Debate Club, led by our ambassador also, Munajot, we are going to organize this Lazarski Debate Cup, unprecedented event. I don't think that something like that happened in our university before, so it's going to be a big grand event. and everybody is invited to participate. Guys, all the details about the Lazarski Debate Cup you can find on our Instagram pages of the university, of the Student Help Desk, I think, and of the Lazarski Debate Club Instagram page. So just follow.
Students still have time to register for
Yes.
that, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, so hurry up, guys.
Hurry up. We have the question from Anas. Have you ever regret something, choices or opportunities in your life, and you wish you haven't done that, or the opposite? We have literally like the personal questions. We never had anything like this to any of our guests before. So
Whether I regretted anything that I did in my life?
yeah.
That would be I wouldn't say so. I mean, everybody has something that he or she regrets at a certain point, but then later on, in the context of the way the future unfolds, they could kind of reassess that event and would kind of say, okay, that was actually a good decision. So it's very subjective. So I wouldn't say that there is something that I'm going and waking up every morning and saying, that was a bad decision. No.
Okay. Coming to that question and mixing them up, we have a question from Maria. She's from Portugal, by the way. Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
Where do I see myself in 10 years? I felt myself on an interview.
Yeah.
Job interview. Where do I see myself in 10 years? Hopefully a bit more knowledgeable, hopefully a bit more wiser, prudent, experienced, and not too old. But yeah, wherever, I mean, like physically, geographically, wherever my path will lead me. Like there is a song which says "Que sera sera," so what's gonna be is going to be. But I wouldn't like to disclose my personal plans so far.
Okay.
But you have a plan.
I might have them, but I wouldn't like to disclose
Okay,
it. That's
Cool. But coming back to the reality, can you ask this question?
Reality and okay.
Well, the real time.
Okay. How will your perfect day look like?
Yeah, morning.
Reading, evening, reading, afternoon, reading.
No, not that bad. I'm unfortunately I'm not that a bookworm that I would like to be. So sometimes I have to discipline and kick my butt to sit down and make half an hour reading. But yeah, I would read something in the morning, have a breakfast, go to work, and spend a productive day. Would launch some cool project with the student help desk, and then would have some classes, and then come back evening and have a nice dinner and read.
So your perfect day is your working day.
Yeah, and I would also incorporate football over there.
Yes, I was waiting for that. Okay, we have the question: are we going to play football this weekend? From help me, I don't know.
Yerke.
Yerke,
Yerke. Hi, Yerke. I think this weekend is off for me because of the debate cup. But whenever the football is coming, I would be posting it in Instagram. So stay in touch.
Okay, the next question that we have is this:
Go on.
have you ever considered to write a book, and what will it be about?
Unfortunately, I'm not Ostap Kushner, who is crazy, like productive and so prolific in terms of writing. I was sitting with him in an office, and I would see the way he just like his creative output is so astonishing. So it would probably take me another 5 years to come up with the decision and then write it down. But that would be awesome, honestly speaking.
Okay,
We'll be waiting.
we'll be waiting
together
for
with
that.
students for your book.
Yeah, and then on Lazarski Talks episode 2055, we're gonna give your book as one of the prizes. Okay, can we read this one from Just Meet? You always ask so nice questions. I mean, on every time when you're watching us.
Really nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Last question from my side is, what makes you feel alive? By the way, just wanted every person making Lazarski Talks possible. I'm so grateful and obliged to
Oh,
take part in such a beautiful evening.
Thank you very
Thank
much,
you so
Jasmine.
much.
Thank
you
you.
so much. We are
Thank you
pleased.
not for our guests, for our hosts, for the guys who you never see but they're there. Our Lazarski studio, we thank you very much, guys. By the way, yeah, I have to mention, Lazarski studio gave us 10 more minutes of the live today, so we have 14 more minutes, 16 more minutes, not 6. As the price for this beautiful episode.
Thank
So
you,
about
guys.
being alive.
Yeah.
What
What makes you feel alive?
Feel alive. My work once again. My friends. I'm blessed to have amazing friends. My family. Well, if there is any lottery that I won in my life, then it's like to be born into my family, my parents. Yeah, my relatives. That's probably it. And football. A lot of football.
Football. Yeah.
And that is a very, very cool answer. And the last question from my side, that's not a student. Did you arrive at this point in your life because you willed it or because you were destined to be there?
Because I was destined or because I willed it.
Yeah.
I okay, if you're asking about whether I was destined and I wanted to become a teacher, I never knew that. I mean, I was offered. It was a surprise for me when I was offered the position at Lazarski University. I was just trying to do very good in my MA studies and to write a decent MA thesis, and I really dedicated like several months of non-stop writing and research for that. And I was honestly speaking very surprised when they offered me that position, but it kind of comes also a bit more naturally for me probably, and don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to brag, but just because my family, there are so many teachers in my family, and it's like family
Yeah.
job.
And that's cool. Do you believe in luck or hard work, or they both should be in the same line if you want to reach success?
Who asked this question?
Anas.
Okay, Anas, that's a very good question. I like this
Can
one.
you stop touching the microphone?
I'm sorry. I would easily give a book for this question. Okay, so here's what. I think there's always an element of luck in any story of success, but it's something that you cannot control. So what it means is that, well, the Stoic philosophy says control and try to influence what you can control, and what you cannot control, just simply accept it as it is. So that is why I would probably say do hard work and hope for a good luck too.
We have a comment. The students wants another episode with Mr. Zhan because we're running out of time.
On point.
And I actually think that because we didn't discuss a half of what we planned, we might think about that. Yeah, and Shushu Maria, I'm sorry, from Portugal said, yeah, this is the Spanish song that you
You were
Que será,
mentioning.
yes,
Very beautiful.
very beautiful. Well,
We already did, Anas, make this meeting longer a
Yeah.
little bit as much as we can.
because Anna's asking if we can make this meeting longer, and I guess that we're just gonna invite you again, and you won't have any choice to say no to us.
Thank you.
So yeah, should we ask Jesus? Should we ask this one?
Okay. Interesting. I think so, really. What was your most recent great success, in your opinion?
Okay, success by which metrics? I mean, if you're talking about the accomplishments, like I don't know, that are measured in financial terms, or I'm puzzled now. So okay, so something that I would call myself, okay, okay, so I'm trying to be consistent and I'm trying to learn, so I would not bring it up, but okay, since you're asking. I'm learning languages. I'm learning French language, and I decided to take a streak as long as possible, and I did it 1,000 days. A little bit of it, actually, yeah. So, and that's how I'm trying to develop a consistent effort to dealing with a task. That would probably my little success of a recent time. Yeah.
Okay. I think we already answered that. What kind of advice could you give for international students during studying time or maybe in free time? Which way useful for future working in small companies or continue learning? I guess just the last part of that, because we already answered the first one.
Continue learning or gain experience.
Yeah.
I think if you can do both, you have to do both. I mean, well, university brings a great value, but at the same time, if you complement it with the field experience, with the practical experience of doing something in the industry, that's the most invaluable candidacy in a labor market.
Okay. Should we ask this one?
Coming back to football. What is your favorite football team and who do you support in the Champions League?
Okay. I don't have that's apparently that's something peculiar about me because all my friends with whom I play football, they all have some favorite teams, and I don't. I just love the game, and I try to follow some of the big games, but I choose on the spot like that team or the other team because I don't really have a one single team that I root for all my life. No, I'm kind of what they call a glore.
And what are your predictions for the UCL final?
Okay, that's going to be interesting. Manchester City, probably, and I'll probably support Liverpool also in the from the remaining teams.
Okay. So we have 3 questions to go.
Really? I
Really?
think more.
And I'm just trying to combine some of them. So the question from your student ambassador, right? Right.
Okay.
Yes. If you had a choice to change one thing in your past, what would you change?
If I would change something in my past, what would I change? I never thought about it, honestly speaking. But well, it's kind of relating to the question that if what would I say to myself like 10 years ago, some sort of a question. I would probably say myself start learning languages earlier and start learning in financial markets and investing earlier and getting just generally the financial literacy, I would say that way. Yeah, just these
Okay.
two.
Would you read the question from Nikita Fedorenko?
With pleasure. Do you have dreams which you can tell us about or the desire to change any global problem which annoys you?
Okay.
Pandemic?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm really dreaming to get back to normal and to sit down somewhere in a terrace of a restaurant with my friends and have a cup of tea without necessity to wear these masks.
All of us are.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a general way out of this question if you allow me to.
Yes,
Okay.
we allow you. The next question is from Anas. What if you work so hard for something and you already planned everything for it, then you failed on it, or it works the way you don't want it to?
That's a problem of your, I mean, of the focus of your attention and expectations, I think, because for me, whenever you're working hard on something, you're gaining experience, and experience itself is already the invaluable component of your life. It's not necessarily attaining the goal, because first of all, well, why do we always compare and antagonize failure and success as the two opposite sides of the same coin? The opposite side of success, as Nassim Taleb says, is not a failure but the face losing. So I don't think a failure is actually a it's actually a necessary component of success, basically. So failing is not bad. Don't be afraid to fail. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think that's going to be the last question that we have.
This is a beautiful
But
question.
this is
to
a
be the
beautiful
last.
question. So, would you read it?
Yeah, sure. What was the most brilliant thing you heard from students on your terrorism classes?
Who is asking this question? I'm very
Andre.
Andre Schnellfunk.
Yes.
Yes.
Uh, Thank you, Andrea, for the amazing question. Unfortunately, I'm too old to remember this kind of details. What was the most amazing thing that student told me during I'm very blessed to have these students who are very interactive during my classes, and they say so many things. I cannot cram it all into my memory. I'm sorry.
Because we just got a request from Maria. Can he answer with the Russian accent?
Yes, why not? I have tried to, but I apologize. It's not very okay.
Okay, she likes it because she's laughing. The last question from Anas, because I cannot miss it. He asked about, when you planned and everything screwed up and blah blah blah. So now he's asking. So let's call it experience and learning instead of a failure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The perfect question, the perfect answer.
Okay, unfortunately, we need to finish this episode. So let's switch to this beautiful part of choosing the best questions and those people who will receive this wonderful book.
And now
Okay.
Mr. Zhan just running away and never coming back.
Okay, the problem is that so many questions. At the beginning, there was one of the questions. Do we have a list?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
Yeah,
of
okay.
course. I'll just write it down. We'll
If you
find
remember
the
the
Can we
question.
do that? Because I don't remember who was asking. I didn't
Sure,
ask. I should
sure,
have asked. You.
absolutely.
So let me guys just go through the questions, and I'll be very happy to give away these books. And thank you very much for this amazing question. There were so many of them.
So we're just gonna find the
Yeah,
winners
and
Yes.
contact
and
them.
contact them as always.
By the
And
way, you will choose the books which they are receiving, right?
Probably.
Yeah,
they're
That,
gonna
that would
fight.
be the right.
where they're gonna
That-
fight.
That will be fair. Come on.
Yeah,
So
that
the
would be
first one.
The first one. You mean the question?
Yeah.
Have you, because if you want, you
Yeah.
can, because I think that Mr. Zhan wanted
Yeah.
to read them all at
Yeah,
the end of
yeah,
the
yeah, if-
episode
if-
and
if
then
possible.
Ah,
submit it.
okay, I got it.
There was one question by Anas, and I already know which book I'm going to give away to him. I think there was two more questions that I kind of very vaguely remember, but I'd like to take a look at
Yeah.
them. And if you don't mind, guys, I'm
Well,
I'm
there were
quite old
so
to
many
remember
questions
everything.
that we honestly don't mind. But we can tell that Anas, you won the book. And two more winners will be announced on the Instagram, I guess.
We will contact
And we
you
will
in
contact.
direct messages, and you will get the information. We'll choose the best ones. So thank you so much
Thank you for having
for
me.
being with us today, for all of your wonderful answers to
It's
wonderful questions of our wonderful students.
Well, we can see now why students voted
Yeah,
for you, why
I
students
got the
wanted,
answer.
yeah, you to be here. And I think we succeeded during this episode. I think that students now know more about Zhan, who is not just a teacher, but about Zhan, who is just a person who likes playing
Yeah.
football and reading and
you
work.
have a lot of thank yous in
Yeah,
the
thank
comments.
you is coming
guys.
always out.
Hearts, all
It's
the
a
nice
pleasure.
words.
So, guys, I think we can finish now.
Yes.
Thank you very much once again for being with us.
Thank you. It was an honor to be here. Thank you for arranging it once again, and thank you guys for your amazing questions. I'll see you in the classroom, hopefully soon.
See you next
Guys, thank you very much again. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Moreover, the next episode will be dedicated more to the candidates who wants to study in Lazarski University, also for our students who wants to know more about scholarships maybe, or some other topics which we're
So
interested
it's
in.
going to be very, very
Yeah,
interesting.
informative, let's say. Thank you for being
Thank
with
you
us
very
today.
much. Bye-bye.
See ya.